On presidential polls, Peter Obi and Labour Party seeks court order to question Inec on credibility of ICT devices. Very serious matter. Don't enter these things because ICT engineers and SMEs have entered this matter, and the truth will come out. It means that even from onset, there may have been, or there might have been, some fraudulent activities alongside the digital system introduced by Inec to manage elections. The Labour Party and its presidential candidate on Thursday sought an order of the Presidential Election Petition Court to interrogate the Independent National Electoral Commission on the experts on information and communication technology used for the conduct of the election. The petitioners, who filed two separate motions that were argued by their counsel, Mr. Patrick Ikweto San, sought to know from the interrogatories the quality of the ICT expert deployed in the use of technology for the conduct of the disputed election. They equally asked the court to compare Inec to supply them with names and profile of ICT personnel that handled the technological aspect of the election. Equity submitted that answers to the question would his client in establishing will help his client in establishing allegations of poor conduct, especially malpractices in the conduct of the election, as well as effective presentation of his petition challenging the declaration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as winner of the election. Yeah. So, however, Inec, represented by Mr. Kemi Pinheiro San, objected to Obi's bid to subject his client to interrogation through incompetent application. They will continue to argue things: one is competent, one is not competent. I know that is the direction they will go. The senior lawyer argued that Obi's applications had become belated because he brought them outside the time allowed by law. Specifically, Pinheiro argued that such an application ought to have been brought and argued during the pre-hearing session, adding that bringing the application outside the pre-hearing session has robbed the court of jurisdiction to hear it. He insisted that the application must fail because it is a waste of time, adding that the precious time of the court must not be expanded on such a request. President Tinubu, represented by Chief Akin Olujimi San, and the All Progressive Congress, represented by Prince Latif Fagbemi San, also kicked against granting of the request, insisting that the application is grossly incompetent in the face of the law. Meanwhile, the presiding Justice Haruna Samani has reserved ruling in the application. The interrogatories requested the Independent National Electoral Commission to provide answers to 12 questions as the following. Oh boy, not be smart, you know. What is the date of the testing for functionality as well as for stress and load balancing carried out on the improved system before its final deployment for the 2023 general election? That's question one. What is the name and details of the persons that carried out the test on the system referred to in one above? You see. Then number three, who created, deployed the 4 applications, patches, upgrades to fix the HTTP 500 error that prevented the e-transmission of the results of the presidential election on February 25, 2023? What are the details of the 4 applications and patches upgrades created, deployed to fix the HTTP 500? Can you imagine? What was the exact time of the occurrence of the technical glitch which prevented the e-transmission of the results of the presidential election on February 25, 2023? What are the details of the 4 patches upgrades created and deployed to fix the 2023 HTTP 500 error? Can you imagine? Referred to in paragraph 55, subsection 7 and 90X of the first respondent Inec reply to the petition. HTTP 500 error. So this is the problem. They were not supposed to use HTTP. Should have been better be HTTPS, because this is HTML code. Wow. What time were the technological glitches fixed and or repaired? Were there any technical glitch after the successful upload of the result of the presidential election at 8:55 p.m. on February 25, 2023? What percentage of the result of the presidential election was uploaded on the IREV on February 25, 2023? They won't say all those things. Okay. Wow. What percentage of the results of the presidential election was uploaded on the IREV as at the time of the declaration of the result of the presidential election of 2023? Do you have documents to print out to back your answers above, and if any, can they be produced to this court? They're not going to answer any of these questions. If the presidential election was conducted concurrently with the National Assembly election on the same day and at the same time, using the same technological devices, why were there glitches only with respect to the presidential election? That is a question they can't answer. So they uploaded the one of national assemblies, the Senate and the House of Reps, okay, but they couldn't upload the one of presidential election. So they have to explain it because they use the same devices, the same process for both elections. Meanwhile, the petitioners called their second witness, PW2 Anthony Chinwo, who claimed to be a software engineer. However, his attempt to discredit the technological devices used by Inec in the conduct of general election failed under cross-examination by counsel to Inec, Tinubu, Shetima, and APC. Led in evidence by Obi's legal team, represented by PI Ikweto, son Anthony Chinwo asked the court to adopt a statement on oath. Regardless, in his statement on oath before the court, he said from his knowledge of software engineering and computer operations, the information or data generated imputed in the bimodal voter accreditation system, whether operating online or offline, were transmitted to the Inec servers, including the virtual server hosted on the Amazon Web Services cloud platform. Can you imagine? He also deposed in a statement on oath that the Amazon Web Services is the world's most comprehensive platform which enables large enterprises and government agencies to effectively and in real time manage data, thereby disputing the statement by Inec about technical glitches during the presidential election. Under cross-examination, Inec lawyer A.B. Mahmood San asked him if he was familiar with any of the applications on the bimodal voter accreditation system machines. He responded in a negative but noted that he was familiar with the back-end server and Inec result viewing portal, IREV. The witness was also asked if he believes that the Amazon Web Services, AWS, is the most secured provider of cloud services globally, and that INEC engaged it for the purpose of securing the result. The witness agreed that the AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, was secured, but explained that it is not a fair conclusion to conclude that INEC protected the actual result of the 2023 presidential election. You are not a staff of Amazon. Mahmoud asked him. No, I am not, Chinwo replied. Then when the turn of Tinubu and Kashim Shetima's lawyer, Yusuf Ali San, came, he asked the witness if he was still standing by his statement on oath, and there are 17 paragraphs and I stand by them, the witness replied. So when pressed further by Ali, the witness agreed that while the election is disputed, it is only INEC that prescribes the procedures for conduct of election in Nigeria. We agree. Nobody disputed that now, but the question is, all the laws and procedures they prescribed and they plan to follow, did they follow them? They did not. That is where the problem is. So nobody is disputing that they don't have right to prescribe, but the prescriptions have been made, procedures are in place, but were not followed. That is it too. If you are going to go investigation route, the question people will be asking is, were there procedures and policies and laws for election? Yes. Were they followed? No. So that will be the second question that should come. APC lawyer Latif Fagbemi's son asked Chinwo to tell the court if it was his experience as an architect and software engineer that he used to write his statement on oath. The witness said he wrote his statement on oath from his knowledge as a software engineer and as well as his investigation of the Inec results viewing portal IREV. The witness went on to say that he leveraged on the application programming interface API to collect and study all the Inec publicly available information on the internet relating to the IREV and 2023 election. But Fagbemi asked him why he did not put his profile on oath, to which he replied that he was intentional, okay, and for sensitive reasons. The petitioner thereafter tendered Inec from EC40G from 4 local government areas of Bayelsa State. The form EC40G is a summary of registered voters of polling units where elections were cancelled or did not occur. The form is signed by a collation officer at ward level. It includes names of all polling units under the registration area where the election was not held or cancelled. Attempts to proceed with further tendering of documents was unsuccessful, and the court ordered the petitioners to go and organize yourself and come back tomorrow. The court decision was informed by the untidy nature of the documents put forward by the petitioners, as majority of them were riddled with mistakes and proper numbering of pages. Chairman of the Presidential Election Petition Court, Justice Samani Haruna, had, while adjourning the petition, lamented, "You have over 100 lawyers in your team and you keep making mistakes every day." Can you imagine? They are saying this now, they want to use it to come against them. But the fact remains that this ICT staff, they need to work with him. He has the experience, he has the knowledge, but presentation is what I see here, which they need to tighten all very well. But I know that if they go deeper, if they use HTTP 500 error came up, it means that it is not secure. You don't use HTTP at port 80, okay, without using a secure shell, SSH, with it. You understand? If you don't, some things are going to happen online. People will hack it. And it probably was a deliberate attempt. So they need to bring that up as well. Because what they have done is that they use unsecured port or unsecured line internet system to handle that information. So the INEC ICT staff or software engineer who was behind all of this should be questioned. Why did he choose to use HTTP? And that is why HTTP error came up. If he had used HTTPS, which is more secured, it would have been better. It would have been better. That is what I see here. So first of all, the HTML code they use in programming all of that is not secured. Or the hosting was also not secure. It was hosted on port 80. Now that is not correct. Okay. For those people who do not know how to use internet or online, they need to understand that HTTPS system is more secure, that is the S behind it, than the ordinary HTTP. Ordinary HTTP can be hacked and be broken into, but that of HTTPS is more secured and encrypted end to end. So I think they need to continue to cross-examine all of these, but the ICT staff that is representing Labour Party, they need to help him to tidy up things very well.